and thank you for downloading the Witness History podcast from the BBC World Service with me, Rachel Naylor. Today, I'm taking you back 25 years to when the first photo was shared from a phone. I've been speaking to the man who took the picture. It's the 11th of June, 1997, and French software engineer Philippe Kahn is about to become a dad. He's in a maternity ward in Santa Cruz in California, and his wife Sonia is in labour. It's a momentous day, but his mind's elsewhere, because about 9 months ago, he'd had an idea that's about to come to fruition.
The idea was to instantly share photos. What the Polaroid did in the 20th century, where you took a picture in a dinner party and you shared it and everybody liked that. Well, in the world of digital, you could instantly share this with lots of people. The trouble is that at the time, there was very little bandwidth, and so something had to be done, and the key to this was essentially a server infrastructure that was able to receive one picture and share links to many people. And so what I did is I spent about 8-9 months putting together a server that could actually do that. You know, when you have a project like that, you can't really predict when, it's all going to come together. But it turns out that, it's the old saying that if it wasn't for the last moment, nothing would get done. The timing was just right when Sophie was going to be born. And I felt, wow, all the energy just concentrated to make it happen. But it was serendipity. I hadn't planned to make this for the birth of Sophie, but it was that magical moment. It was a great thing.
And how did your wife feel about you working on it at that time?
Oh, well, I'm very fortunate where Sonia is also a technologist. We're partners. And so, when you're going to have a baby, you go to these classes and we spend, an hour or two. Here's what you do. You massage your wife's back, you help her breathe, you help all that. As soon as we got into the maternity, Sonia turned to me and said, leave me alone. Go do your thing.
Thanks to some last-minute tweaks at the hospital, by the time his newborn daughter Sophie arrived at 2:21 p.m, Philippe's prototype for a camera phone was up and running. And the first photo he took was a grainy picture of her in his arms, using a Casio Q10A digital camera hooked up to his Motorola StarTAC flip phone, which was connected to his Toshiba Satellite Pro laptop.
On one side I held the camera, on the other side I had the baby that was just born in my right hand, and I basically took the first selfie. I didn't know I was doing that, but I held the camera in left hand, and nobody had really done that before, and shared it instantly.
But Philippe doesn't do things by half. When he says he shared it, it wasn't just with his family. He sent it to the 2,000 people in his email address book.
But there were like a few hundred friends, and then the other 1,000 of people were people in the technology business around the world. And that really made a difference, is that some of the key technologists of the time, journalists, they got it, and I get an email back from them, how do you do that? And then that's when we knew that we had something special, because everybody says, I want one of those. I want to be able to take pictures and share them instantly. And we knew it was something cool, but at that time we realized that that's something a lot of people would want.
But not everyone agreed.
I took it to Kodak, I took it to Polaroid, and to different companies. And those companies were obtuse. They didn't realize what we had. Polaroid felt that it would put them out of business, because the way their business model worked is they sell a camera and then they sell the film. And they said, if it's digital, we don't have anything to sell. We don't want that. The same thing was true with Kodak. They're selling films. They had photo labs that developed pictures in an hour, etc. And so they all said, no, we don't want that. It's going to kill our business. They were going, what are we going to sell if it all becomes digital and instant? My point to them was, it's going to become digital. It's going to be instant. So you need to transform your business.
And did you ever doubt yourself when you were getting rejected, or these companies were saying they didn't think it was a good idea?
Oh, when you're an inventor and you create things, you're very much used to be rejected. When you create new things, most of the world thinks it'll never happen. It's doubtful. It's not. So that's totally normal. That's to be expected. So you expect that you're going to try to work with 10 people and perhaps 1 or 2 will be excited. And that's what happened.
Fortunately, a Japanese network called J-Phone did get it. They were very interested, and in November 2000 released the Sharp JSH-04, the world's first mass-market camera phone. It was silver, 13 centimetres long, with a back-facing camera and a funky extendable aerial on the top. Within 2 years, the rest of the world followed suit, with camera phones being released in the USA and Europe in 2002, as BBC News reports.
A new generation of phones is about to hit the streets, and these handsets can send not only text, but take and send pictures as well, as Rory Catherine-Jones now explains.
The whole mobile phone industry is desperately hoping that in a year or so we'll all be sending these kind of messages. Sending a picture will cost 2 or 3 times as much as an ordinary text message. Not everyone's convinced it's the next big thing.
Picture texting needs a lot more network capacity, and I think you've got to persuade all your friends to pay hundreds of pounds for this piece of kit if you're going to use it at all. So I think we're a little way off seeing picture texting becoming a mass market thing just yet.
And over on the BBC News website, the comments section was also divided. We've voiced up some of them.
Just another example of technological advances enticing us to pay ever more money for lower quality images.
I'd use the camera phone to take pictures of my best friend, my dog Benson.
Infinite uses for the teenager. Not entirely sure what the rest of us would do with one though.
I love taking pictures, but I hate having to carry another gadget. If it was integrated with the phone, that would be so cool.
Today, 93% of photos are taken with smartphones, and nearly 7 billion images are shared on WhatsApp alone every day, according to the photography website Photutorial.
The key to the camera phone is its wireless nature, which you have it with you if you're in the middle of a demonstration, if you're in the London subways where they're being bombed, if you're at the birth of your kid and all that. You don't have a wired connection. Nowadays, old smartphones have cameras and have the system that I built. This creation, really changed a lot of things that people are doing. Camera phones are everywhere. The citizen journalists allowed to document so many things. They are in telemedicine. They're all over. I mean, it's amazing what we can do with camera phones these days. The good and the bad, of course. We all use our phones like I thought people would use them, and it's kind of great satisfaction to actually see that the vision came to reality. We all have a camera phone in our hands, in our pockets all the time. I always say the best camera is the camera you always have with you.
And do you still send photos on your phone now?
Yeah, of course, like everybody else, I'm a human. I love my dog. I take pictures of my dog all day long and a lot of things. Yeah, of course. That's what I love about the camera phone, is that it's something for everyone.
That day then, on the 11th of June 97, what were you most excited about? The birth of the camera phone and the birth of Sophie? Oh,
of course, the birth of Sophie. There are two things that are completely different. The birth of Sophie is something cosmic, The camera phone is a material thing, You can always invent something new, but there's only one Sophie.
Philippe Kahn was speaking to me, Rachel Naylor, for that episode of the Witness History podcast from the BBC World Service. Happy snapping! Just time to take a selfie before I leave the studio.